everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another 2021 reading plans video thing. Today's video is kind of how I plan on tackling my monthly TBRs for 2021. I was finding towards the end of this year that my TBRs were feeling kind of restrictive. I would put books on my TBR and then not really feel like reading them, but feeling obligated to. And it didn't like cause me to go into a slump, luckily, but I just kind of stopped paying attention to my TBRs instead, and just reading what I wanted to. And I mean, which is fine. Like, I'd rather do that than just not read at all because I feel like obligated to read off of my TBR. But that kind of made me want to reevaluate how I was tackling TBRs on a monthly basis. So I want to kind of go about them a little bit differently in 2021. So my plan is, on any given month, assuming there's not like a readathon I want to participate in or things of that nature, I'm going to keep my TBR fairly small. I'm thinking around 5 books a month. I tend to average reading about like 8 to 10 books a month. So if I put 5 books on my TBR, that gives me a little bit of room to do some mood reading if I so desire. So those 5 books will consist of any buddy reads that I have planned for that month. So please reach out about buddy reads. I will reach out as I see books that I would love to buddy read with, various people here on BookTube. But if you ever see anything that you would like to buddy read with me that I talk about, please reach out, because buddy reads are awesome and I love doing them. So any buddy reads that I have planned. And then I am going to continue with my TBR glasses. They've changed a little bit. This green one is still like books from past TBRs that I still haven't read, or books or authors or whatever that I mentioned in my 5 on Friday videos. So this one stays the same. This one has changed slightly. This previously had like book of the month books that were unread and other just like random books from my shelf. I took out my book of the month books. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Right now, this is the books on my like 2021 priorities, my 21 books for 2021, which I can do a video on. I wasn't planning on it because most of the books on that most of those 21 books are books that I've talked about a lot that I just still haven't read. So I feel like it might be a little bit redundant, but if you want to know the 21 books I'm prioritizing in 2021, let me know and I'll film a video. So it has those books. This also has any books that were on my 2020 priority list that I haven't read, which some of those are on my 2021 list, so I didn't like put them in twice. And then there's a few authors that I have like a bunch of books by, mainly like Nelson DeMille, John Grisham, and Mary Higgins Clark. And I put a couple books by them in here as well. So I will still pick one book from each, one book from each class a month. The rest of my TBR on a monthly basis will consist of book of the month books. As I mentioned in my goals video, I want to prioritize reading my book of the month books because what I have found happening is, well, I'm just not reading them. That's really what it comes down to. So I'm on the fence as to whether I want to actually continue my book of the month subscription. And it's not that I don't enjoy book of the month. Like, I enjoy picking my books. I pick them with my mom every month. We call each other as soon as we see that they're available, and we pick books and we end up chatting, and it's fun. But what tends to happen is I, read the synopses, all of that, pick the books, and then some of these books have literally been sitting on my shelves for 2 years. haven't read them. And it's not that at the time, like when I purchased them, they sounded interesting, but I just haven't read them yet. And what I'm finding is there are, like, Book of the Month that does have really great selections and books that I will read right away. Like, they have had Riley Sager, and I select his books and like read them immediately. They've had Taylor Jenkins Reid, they've had Ellen Hildebrand, but those authors, I would buy those books whether they were Book of the Month books or not. So like them being Book of the Month books is great because I like get them cheaper than if I pre-ordered them. And a lot of the times I get them earlier than the release date. But I'm going to read those books and purchase those books whether I get the Book of the Month edition or like the regular edition. So then I like get these other books that like, yeah, they sound good, but I don't prioritize reading them. So I'm really on the fence as to whether I want to continue my subscription. So my plan is, if I look at the books that I purchased in the corresponding, like that month, so January, for example, of 2019 and 2020. So I've had my subscription for 2 years. Have I read those books? And if I haven't read those books are now going on my TBR for that month. So it's almost like a reader unhaul type project where I'm looking at, have I read these? Is Book of the Month worth it for me? Like, I already have, spoiler alert, I've already looked at January, and I've read all of the books from January 2019, have read only one of the books from 2020, and some of the books that I've read from Book of the Month from previous Januaries, I did not love. I actually don't own anymore. So maybe Book of the Month isn't worth it for me. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out with this whole Book of the Month project thing. So my TBR will consist of anybody reads, books from my 2 TBR Glasses, and Book of the Month books. Then I'll have a little bit of wiggle room, hopefully, to add books or to mood read. So all of that being said, I also still am planning on participating in readathons because I love putting readathon TBRs together, finding books that fit the challenges. It's so much fun. And I love supporting my friends here on BookTube as they create readathons. It's a good time. So I tend to prefer month-long readathons because they're easier for me because I work full-time, and finding time in like a week to like complete more than one challenge is like stressful. But I will still, I mean, sometimes I throw in a week-long readathon, but I will still be participating in readathons. But when I do participate in a readathon, if it's more than a week-long readathon, so if it's like 2 weeks or a month or whatever, that is the only TBR I'm going to make for that month. I'm not going to choose from my TBR Glasses, and I'm not going to force myself to read the Book of the Month books from that month. If I can fit those books in, I will, but I want to keep readathons and reading in general just more fun. And I feel like the fun of finding books from my shelves to fit readathon prompts, it becomes less fun when I have very specific books that I have to make fit prompts. So when there is a readathon, you will only see a TBR for that readathon. I will not be adding any books from any of the other things I just said, unless it's a buddy read. I'll still do buddy reads during readathon months because I can tend to fit those in anyways. And a lot of the time, the readathons that I'm participating in, my BookTube friends are also participating in, so we can make it work for the same prompts. So that is kind of my reading plans for, or my TBR plans for the year. Let me know how you tackle TBRs. I know a lot of people only do TBRs for readathons, and I'm starting to lean more in that direction, but is that how you tackle your monthly reading plans? What do you do? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.